My name is Yumiko Sakai. I'm a 32-year-old housewife. This time, I'd like to talk about an incredible incident involving my husband and my rival. It all began when I was a student in university. At the time, I was 20 years old. I was part of the theater circle, which was pretty normal. For us, it was more important that we enjoy ourselves rather than be too serious. I was enjoying my campus life as a normal student, but there was one person who was always bothering me.
What? You only spend that much when you buy makeup? You're amazing. You're really strict on yourself. I wouldn't be able to bear it.
This really sarcastic girl is Wakana Aoyanagi. She is the same year as me, in the same circle, but for some reason she really hates me and likes to make spiteful comments towards me. We're completely different, so I don't understand what can make her feel so defensive, but if she was only being sarcastic, I could just ignore her without any problems. However, the most unbelievable thing would happen soon after. One day, when I went to visit the guy I was dating at the time,
What?
I stumbled across him cheating on me, and the woman was,
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. He says he likes me better.
It was Wakana. I couldn't ignore this, and we ended up fighting. Of course, I broke up with my boyfriend by the end of the day. There was no way of making peace with Wakana, and we both graduated university without making up. I thought we'd never meet again. A few years later, when I became 27, I was working for a company called MoniRobo Trading Company. Personally, I preferred to focus on my career and didn't have any intention to get married, so I was working non-stop. I was enjoying my work life and had been pretty successful, but someone I never wanted to see again appeared before me.
This is Miss Aoyanagi. She'll be working with us from today.
Looking forward to working with you.
Wakana had come to work at my company as a contract employee. On top of that, the Fates had decided that...
Then I'll leave her training to you.
What? I was in charge of training. She had also realized that it was me, and we had both spent the first day feeling awkward.
It's good to see you again.
I never expected this reunion, LOL. Yeah, I was surprised too. Sorry, I was quite awkward today. I didn't know how to react or what to say. Don't worry about that. TBH, I felt really awkward too. I'm not surprised. We haven't spoken since then, after all.
Are you still angry?
At the time, I felt like I could never forgive you, but until I saw you today, I hadn't thought about it at all.
Right? It's all in the past, isn't it? Then we should forget all about it and get on well as workmates. You're okay with that, right?
Okay, let's do that.
All right, see you tomorrow.
I felt that she didn't have a right to say, let's forget about it, but it wouldn't be mature to keep dragging it along, so I decided to treat her as a normal colleague. Even though I'm in charge of training her, I'm not with her all the time, so there was no big problem. After work one day, I was waiting to meet my boyfriend. His name is Tadashi. He was in the same circle as me in university in the same year. Currently, although in a different section, he's working at the same company. In university, we didn't talk much, but when we came to the same company, we got to know one another and have been dating for a year now. If we finish at the same time, we sometimes meet after work and head home together. Today was no different. I had been waiting for Tadashi, but...
Oh, Tadashi? And Yumiko?
Ugh, Wakana?
Wakana? Why are you here?
I'm working at MoniRobo too.
No way.
Are you guys dating? It was the worst. We'd been found out by Wakana. We're both adults and going home together, so of course we can't hide that we're dating. And it's not like we're trying to, but I honestly didn't want Wakana finding out. I mean, it was because of her that I had to go through that horrible drama in university.
I was so surprised. I didn't think you'd be dating Tadashi.
Yeah, it's not like we're hiding it or anything. We just didn't find the time to say it.
Good for you.
This way you can live without worrying about your future. You're over-exaggerating. Nope. I remembered when I saw his face, but Tadashi's dad is that guy, right? Yeah, he's the CEO of our company. Yeah, exactly. Ever since we were in university, all the girls were fighting over him. You're right, I am lucky. You should be careful. It's likely some of the girls still haven't given up on him. Well, it's only natural. The conversation had suddenly become really meaningful. Just like she said, Tadashi was the heir to our company. In other words, his future was promised to him, and many people had high hopes for him. I already knew that he was popular, and that's part of the reason why I didn't want her to know. When he asked me to go out with him,
I won't ever betray you. I promise. Trust me.
He said that, and I did believe him. But the drama that had happened in uni all those years ago was lodged in the back of my mind. When I caught sight of Wakana and Tadashi talking in the corridor, I couldn't help but think, maybe? The next day, when I headed out for lunch, I saw them talking in the corridor again.
I was surprised. You're still as cute as you were in university.
What? That's not true. But you've become much cooler, Tadashi. And witnessed them having that sort of conversation. I wondered if I should barge in, but I felt it wouldn't be mature and would be too clingy. Instead, I turned around and walked the way I came. After that, I often saw Wakana approaching Tadashi flirtatiously. She was just a colleague, so I felt that complaining would be too heavy, but I also felt that leaving things as they were was too dangerous. I didn't know what to do. Fortunately, the situation was soon resolved without me having to do anything at all. Hey, what did you do? You're horrible. You didn't have to go that far. Huh? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. I know that you're involved. Calm down. Start from the beginning. I'm being bullied by some of the girls in our section. Bullied? How? They keep on forcing chores onto me, like sorting data. Well, that is your job. Their attitudes are really harsh. Oh, really? You must be the one that told them to do it, just because you think you're going to lose to Tadashi. So unfair. Oh, so you acknowledge that you're trying to take him? I don't care what you think, but I haven't done anything. These were her accusations, but I really hadn't done anything. Come to think of it, Wakana was really unpopular with the girls ever since university. There were loads of guys that gave her attention then, but right now, our section is mainly made up of women. The only few guys are the section chief and some other colleagues, and everyone else was female. So, of course, nobody here would be forgiving of a woman who slacks on her job just to go chat up the CEO's son. On top of that, I'm more liked rather than hated by the women in our section. It's a bit weird to say it myself, but I'm the type that's liked by my underclassmen. I haven't announced that I'm dating Tadashi, but like a public secret, everyone in the company knows that we're together. Also, some colleagues.
Don't focus too much on your work. You should respond to Tadashi's feelings.
Even try and push me to get married. That's why some of them probably can't forgive that Wakana's trying to get in the way of our relationship. Because of those reasons, Wakana had become the shared target of the entire section. In other words, it was her own fault. At university, in our circle, it was enough just to ignore and overlook things, but as an adult within a company, it wasn't that easy. Removing those who put a foot out of line is one of the harsh realities of society. And then...
You still haven't finished the documents I asked for? I can't believe it. How long are you gonna take?
She was getting pretty strict treatment from her colleagues. Hey, I'd like some help. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm busy. They were all giving her the cold shoulder, and Wakana had lost her place in the office. I felt sorry for her, but it's not like she's being bullied. We're just disciplining workers that slack off and don't do their work properly. The truth was, none of her colleagues were saying anything wrong. The female employees were giving out a dominating aura, so none of the guys could even lend her a hand. Truthfully, I could only say she deserved it. Nobody will talk to me properly. What do I even do? I think the problem is that you don't do anything. If you're gonna come to the office, you'd better work. Shut up. It's all your fault. Like I said, I haven't done anything. It's because nobody could overlook how much you were slacking. You're not a student anymore, so you've got to do things properly. I won't leave things like this. I'll get my revenge. You're getting angry at the wrong person. I won't let you be happy. Excuse me? I'm going to resign. But don't think you've won. Wakana left, leaving her promise for revenge. The next day, she skipped work. As a result, she had left her work undone, but because it was faster to get it done without her, it didn't affect our section. Leaving the company hadn't been as big of a revenge as she might have expected. I heard that Wakana had gone back to her parents' house. I remember her mentioning that it was right near our university. Anyway, I was able to cut ties with her without no extra trouble. Or so I thought. 5 years later, I had become 32 and had married Tadashi. I had changed companies, but Tadashi understood that I wanted to focus on my own career. Thanks to all the hard work I had put in until now, I had reached a really good position in my new job. What's more, I'd had a baby. The three of us were living a peaceful life as a new family when...
Yumiko! Long time no speak. How are you?
Kanako! It's good to hear from you. When did we last meet? The graduation ceremony?
Yeah, it's been almost 10 years.
I'm well. How are you?
I can answer here, but the members of the theater circle are planning on getting together.
That sounds great.
Right? We were thinking about calling all the members and hearing how everyone's been doing.
I really want to go, but work.
I won't force you, but I'd love it if you did.
Sure, I'll think about it.
Okay, try and reply within the month.
I was invited by one of my friends from university. I really did want to go, but work was really busy. And that woman is a big part of the problem. Even though it's been 5 years, I sometimes remember her. I finally found my happiness. I never want to meet her again. That's why, after deliberating, I decided not to go. My husband had also been invited, and he planned to go, but I'm sorry, I can't get out of work after all, so I won't be able to go this time. Thanks for inviting me, though.
Oh, but I really think it's best that you come.
Why?
Do you remember Wakana?
Yeah, we were working in the same company for a split second.
It seems she still hates you for it. When I met her the other day, she told me everything.
I thought so. I knew she wouldn't be able to forget about it.
Tadashi's coming to the reunion, isn't he? I hate to remind you, but Wakana... Do you get me?
Yeah, you're right. She warned me about something pretty disturbing. My prediction that she must still be holding a grudge was correct. On the day of the reunion, I ended up seeing my husband off without preparing anything, and I continued my work as normal. Then the reunion was over, and time passed without anything happening. A few months later, that woman sent me a message for the first time in a while. Good to see you. Do you know who this is? Yeah, it's been a long time. Looks a lot like my husband. He doesn't look it. He's the real thing. In other words, you slept with him after the reunion party? Yeah, that's right. But it wasn't just that day. I took this picture just a few moments ago. So you're saying that you've been having an affair since the reunion? And he says he wants to be with me. Oh, really? It's true. He's already filled out the divorce papers, so all he has to do is hand them to you. Sucks to be you. You deserve it. This is what you get for treating me like that. Wakana confessed that she had been having an affair with Tadashi ever since the reunion party. She had announced her victory ever so proudly, I trembled. It was perfect. The situation was completely in my favor, and I shook with joy. I'll take the story back a year. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was on maternity leave. For some reason, my husband had come home at lunchtime. "You're back. What happened? Are you okay?" I thought he had left work early because he had gotten unwell, but
I quit my job and I cut ties with my dad.
he had told me, like he was delivering a speech. I thought it was a joke, but unfortunately, it wasn't. He really had thrown his job out the window and had been disowned by his dad. When I asked for details,
I've always wanted to be an actor. I'm tired of lying to myself.
this was his reply. I tried to convince him, but he wouldn't listen. On top of that, I couldn't go back to work yet and had to resign as well. My husband's father was CEO of the company I was working at, too. Luckily, I had made quite a career for myself, so I easily found a job in another company. My husband, on the other hand,
I'm back! The future Academy Award winner is back because I'm an actor. You get me?
was out every evening and coming home drunk. According to him, it's to polish his acting skills. Well, there's a reason why this happened. In the beginning, he had been going to have auditions with many theater groups, but he didn't have any experience and he was already in his 30s. It was a pretty hopeless situation. As expected, he failed any and all of his auditions. Then he decided something ridiculous.
Fine. I'll make my own. I'm going to create my own theater group.
Without my permission, he had taken out a loan and used it to fund his theater group. It's made up of 10 actors and actresses, and they gather every evening, calling it practice, and go out to drinks afterwards, calling it a reflection meeting. It seems they sometimes put on plays in minor theaters, but the audience is always very empty.
Nobody understands my potential! My skill! You're all idiots!
I'd gotten sick and tired of my husband's drunk tantrums. Just when I was wondering about the best time to divorce him, the invitation to the reunion came up. I had hoped that Wakana would sleep with my husband, but it was even more than that. She had even sent me evidence of her own affair. It saved me from having to hire a PI to investigate, and I saved a lot of money. I showed my husband my conversation with Wakana and got a divorce. I shooed him out of the house, too. He only has Wakana's place to go now. And I was expecting she would be calling any day now. "You deceived me! He's not the next CEO anymore!" "I haven't deceived you. You can say that he was the one that deceived you, though." "What do you mean by compensation?" "Exactly what it means. You've been having an affair with my husband, so I demand payment." "Why did you send it to me?" "Oh, didn't you know? Compensation can be demanded from both the spouse that had the affair and the lover they had with it. That's why I've demanded payment from you both." "What do I have to do?" "You just have to pay, work with Tadashi, and make some money." "I can't do that anymore. That idiot ran away with my money." It turned out that things were even more interesting than I had expected. She was silly to think that she could send all of that evidence and not be taken to court. It was laughable just how naive she is. But I was surprised that he had taken her money and run away. It was way more dramatic and interesting than the one play I had gone to see him perform. Of course, I knew that both of them would be unreliable in their payments. Wakana had had her savings stolen by Tadashi and acted as though she were the victim in the story. In the end, she got a job in a small company and did her best to get on with her small pay. I made her sign a contract promising that she would pay me my compensation, bit by bit. Meanwhile, Tadashi couldn't run for very long and was soon arrested and put in jail for theft. Once he's out, I plan to send a letter with new demands for compensation. I hope that they suffer on the stage called Hell. I feel so relieved. By the way, after hearing about the situation, my father-in-law came to visit and offer his apologies. He said that he would pay child support in my husband's place. He also said,
No matter what, I'll make that idiot pay me back for the child support I give you. So don't worry about it.
and made a fist. Thank you very much. You're the only grandpa my daughter has, and I'd be happy if you would come see her sometimes. Like this, I finally found happiness with my daughter and my father-in-law, who sometimes come to see us.